Hey guys, so sorry for the lighting. I'm filming at night. As you guys know, it's a pretty common thing with me. um, so this evening, I wanted to talk about goddess decks, and first I will kind of get into why a person would maybe want to work with a deck that's geared towards goddess energy or features goddess imagery. And there's two main reasons, at least in my personal experience, as to why. Hey Luna. Why I was drawn to him. And it was first to just work with goddess or feminine energy more. And obviously, this is not exclusive to women. I mean, men can obviously work with goddess decks and feminine energy as well. But the other was to hopefully find a goddess to work with at the time. And hi, Brew. It came to me differently than I actually thought when I initially picked up a goddess deck. But, you know, sometimes things just work in different ways, especially in this path, synchronicities and all that. So, the very first goddess themed deck I picked up was the Goddess Tarot, and this is by Chris Walder. And I bought this deck probably 10 or 11 years ago, and it's crazy because I've only probably used it a handful of times, and I'm actually looking to rehome it because after hanging on to it for a decade, I'm just realizing that I did not connect the way that I was hoping, and sometimes that happens with decks. But I will tell you, I'm gonna move my keyboard. My desk is really small. I will tell you it's a very amazing deck. It's not in order because obviously I had actually thought about trimming the borders off of this deck just because I feel like the white borders are a little bit much. But the cool part about this deck is that it's definitely diverse and the artwork is really soft. But what are you doing down there? Well, don't meow at me. Cats, man. But the borders are just like the white borders I was thinking about trimming off because it's already got this other border here, so it just felt like the artwork itself, the space where the actual artwork starts aside from the border is just so small. So, and these are the backs. The backs are really pretty. And like I said, it's a wonderful deck and it's got plenty of diversity. Follows pretty closely to Rider-Waite. Whoop. Dropping cards! Dropping cards! I mean, as you can see, pretty closely to Rider-Waite. What you doing, miss? I sense kitty trouble. So, yeah, I mean, it's really close to Rider-Waite, it really is. So, I feel like you could definitely read with this pretty easily, and even intuitively if you needed to. But it's got a lot of different deities in it, too. A lot of different goddesses. I know my girl Freya's in here. Kuan Yin is as well, which actually was the initial reason why I got this deck, because I was working with Kuan Yin at the time, kind of loosely. So there's Freya. Yeah, I mean, I like the artwork, but I don't know. This deck and I were just not connecting, and I've given it a good 10 years and not connecting. So that's a little bit of the Goddess Tarot by Chris Walder. And I wish that I had more of a personal experience to share with it, but it just didn't work out for me. So hopefully I can rehome it and it can work out for someone else. I'm gonna put it away in its US Games box here. I take good care of my decks. I have another tarot deck that I'm going to talk about in a bit, but the other two that I have are oracle decks, and strangely they were both gifted to me. So the first one I'm going to talk about, and this is another one that I've actually had for probably about the same time as the Goddess Tarot, is Doreen Virtue's Goddess Guidance cards. And I know there's some controversy around her, but honestly I don't really care that much about it. You know, people are allowed to move on to a different faith. They're allowed to have their opinions. It's whatever. But this deck was gifted to me by my mom, so I'm not ever gonna get rid of it. And I actually like it. I'm not super keen on some of the artwork, but the artwork is not done by the same individual. So some of it, like for instance, Freya, I don't really like that depiction of Freya very much, but Diana looks awesome. I don't think you can do it with these cards, so this is so big. Oh, there we go. So, I mean, and it's got gold gilding too, which is kind of cool. And the backs are there. But yeah, this deck is really cool. I like that it's got a little saying on the bottom and kind of basically what the goddess represents as well, just a keyword. So you don't really have to rely on the guidebook that is provided, but the guidebook's there for you as well. So, and it's got both Artemis and Diana in it, which is really cool. But I think it's a great deck. I mean, if you don't really care about some of the controversy that's gone on with Doreen Virtue, this deck is still available. I know that I think it's still in print. So I like it. It's funny too because this is Danu, and I know this is Dana, but that's actually who Danu is, and that's another name that she's known by. And she actually a lot of the time has the same spelling as my name does, which is D-A-I-N-A, not the D-A-N-A, which was my mom gave me because we're Scandinavian, so it's just funny. But I worked with Danu for a really long time, and she's an amazing goddess. There's Kali. I love that one of Kali. That's awesome. Brigid, Athena. Earlier today I was talking with my good friend Erica from Raw Spirit, and she's like, why do people read the names of the cards when they're going through the cards in a video? And I was like, I do that. So I kind of felt silly for a split second there because it popped in my head, and that's why I paused. Yemaja. Yeah, I will never get rid of this deck. I love this picture of Isis too. Just because it does words. It has a lot of, and Mother Mary's in here too. There's Kuan Yin. It has a lot of different artwork, and I like that. I like the fact that, oh, there's painting. There's a lot of different artwork in here, so it's just kind of refreshing to see all the different takes on the different goddesses. Mary Magdalene, and she's considered a triple goddess with the Morgan. And beside, I have a statue of in my living room because she's kind of like my home and hearth deity since I have cats. So, but yeah, this deck I really do like, and it's a more gentle deck for sure. Just like the Goddess Tarot, I would say, is a more gentle, very kind of lighter vibe. And sometimes you need that in a deck. But sometimes you need to go darker, which is what we're about to talk about. And I'm excited because honestly, I'm a little bit of a darker person. Yes, I'm sweet. Yes, I am the peacekeeper in a lot of ways, but everybody's got their own darkness, right? So this is another one that was gifted to me, and it's funny because I just mentioned her. Erica from Raw Spirit, she just didn't resonate with this deck, and I had been wanting it for a while. She didn't care for the artwork, and I thought that it was great, especially because it's more, I think I've gone through this deck a little bit. It's more kind of comic booky, which honestly, that's how she described it, but I love that stuff because I'm a nerd. The cards are huge though, like, they're huge. Absolutely huge. I worked with this deck for a little while, but I like the fact that the images are a little bit, they're not as soft as Doreen Virtue's deck. They're a little bit more, there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of energy, there's kind of frightening depictions to some of them. I love Amaterasu. For instance, Kali's, I think, is like just wicked. It's really cool. I love it. Even Isis, like, she's a mother goddess and she looks so fierce right there, and I love that. I think that this deck is perfect for kind of connecting into the, like, where's my girl Freya? Connecting into that more like warrior, fierce goddess energy, which is what drew me to goddesses. I don't want to say in the beginning, because one of the first goddesses lips that I worked with was Kuan Yin, obviously goddess of compassion, but then it moved to, why are we upside down? The Morrigan and Danu, which were strange because they were kind of like two sides of one coin in my opinion. They both had their purposes, but, and then on to Freya, and now Freya and Santa Morte, and Odin, but he's, you know, God obviously, but I feel like I have to mention that I also work with him. But there's the Valkyries, which I love. But yeah, if you see, like, each depiction of these goddesses is, they're just kind of, there's a lot of power to these images, and that's what I really loved about this. Like, look at Athena, she just looks freaking fierce, and I love that. I love the fierceness. Oh, here's Kali. Like, oh, how wicked is that? I'm sorry for the glare. Stacey DeMarco's decks are all very glossy, so even Artemis. But Artemis is a huntress, so, you know. Oops. And Matt. Yeah, I love this deck. It's really hard to shuffle, but what is going on with this? Oh, and Baba Yaga is just like, hold on guys, I'll show you. Baba Yaga is, oh, like, oh, sorry, there's my ring light. Yeah, like, there we go. Oh, no, I'm going to focus again. But yeah, you get the picture. Even Bridget, like, this is a softer image, I think, but she still is really, she just has this, like, pensive kind of, there's a lot of movement again, she's just kind of got this, like, pensive, fierce look on her face. It's really awesome. Boadicea. And Kuan Yin, goddess of compassion, but look at her. She looks like she's, like, just staring into your soul. It's amazing. Oh, cards are coming at me. There's Pele again. She's in 3 of my decks. Rhiannon, White Buffalo Woman, oop, and Lilith. I love Lilith. Never worked with her, but she's always been a goddess I've really liked. Okay, so yeah, again, this is Goddess and Sirens by Stacey DeMarco, and this is this type of imagery, this kind of energy from a deck, from a feminine or goddess deck. This is the stuff that I'm, like, all about. So with that being said, I will show you the newest one in my collection. I feel weird saying collection, but I don't really want to have a big collection, let's face it. But excuse me while I adjust. This might be a long video, guys. We're already at 15 minutes here. This is the Dark Goddess Tarot by Ellen Lorenzi Prince, and this deck is a independent publisher, and it was almost out of print, and I found out about it through a friend, and I really, at first I wasn't sure what to think of the artwork, because it's really simplistic. But then it kind of started to grow on me, which was interesting because I actually watched another review on it where the other YouTuber had said the same thing, so that was kind of interesting. But the one thing that really kind of made me pull the trigger on this deck is A, she's in it, and B, it's everything that I had hoped that the Goddess Tarot would have been for me. So I'm really, really looking forward to diving into this deck, and I have been wanting to work more with just darker energy and the shadow and understanding that part of myself. I mean, especially as I've dealt with mental illness and going through therapy and kind of uncovering a lot about myself, I have been wanting to incorporate that in my practice because I feel like that's all part of healing. So yeah, it's not shuffled because I just got it today. I flipped through it, and I'm really, really excited. I'm actually going to flip over the box so I can just put the cards in it as I go through. But yeah, it's something for sure. I mean, it really is. And I don't even mind the borders. I'm kind of weird about decks. Some people are very borders or no borders, and me, it just depends on the deck. Like the Wild Unknown, great, it has an awesome border. It's got a white border and I love it. I saw it trimmed and I was like, that's weird. Rider-Waite, I prefer it with the border. But yeah, again, diversity in this deck. And I think the Black Madonna's an awesome goddess. There's the Morgan, so I was happy to see that because I have worked with her. There's a lot of goddesses in here that I don't know about though. There's my girl Freya. And that is another thing that I'm really excited about because I've loved mythology since I was a kid, and it kind of was like a prelude to my becoming pagan, which is something I kind of want to talk about on this channel a little bit more. But yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get a little bit closer in. Well, maybe we're just SOL, guys. I'm sorry. I do the best I can. Whoop, and there I go, throwing cards. 1 second. There's Baba Yaga. Okay, here we go. I hope you guys find this stuff endearing about me. Not. But yeah, I love this one. Oh. I hope that I can, there she is. I hope I can go through this deck and learn more about these goddesses that I've never even heard of. I was flipping through this deck and I was like, I don't know some of these at all. And I really want to know their stories. And there's Kali. And I want to understand why the author picked them to be a dark goddess, you know? I love this one of Persephone. I like that it shows the two aspects of her, because that's such a big part of her mythology. I've been reading recently about Aztec mythology as well, and it's been interesting. Oh, we're going to throw the... And there's Japanese deities in here too, which I'm somewhat familiar with, having studied Shinto some too as well. Okay, I have to say though, as a nerd, every single time I see anything on the goddess Epona, the song from Zelda pops in my head, Epona's song. The Durga, I like that. That one's cool. Did I get both? Did I get 2 cards? No. Oh, and the other thing I was going to mention that, and now that I'm already like 7 into it, is that the suits for the miners are actually governed by their element instead of swords, cups, pentacles, and wands. So that's actually really cool too, because you can kind of work with just the raw elemental energy of it instead. And I like having that choice because that's actually something that I've been exploring while learning how to read intuitively as well. It was something that I had read in the Psychic Tarot, is learning how to familiarize, there's Pele again, learning how to familiarize yourself with the suits of the miners is actually more looking into their elements and what they represent as personality archetypes as well. Oh, the other thing that I should mention is that the, we're going to go back just a little bit here. The court cards are different in this deck too. So, page is Amazon, Siren for knight, queen is witch, and king is hag. And that's really fucking cool. Face of the Deep. I don't know, I'm curious to read about that one as well. But I just like how they've picked goddesses that are represent, like their mythology has to do with. This one is, whoa, Lalarna. Like, oh, just takes you back. Hold on. We're gonna make this happen. Maybe. No? Well, you get the picture. Stupid webcam. And there's some goddesses in here where I'm like, why are they a dark goddess? I mean, said it makes sense if you know anything about her mythology. But like Lady of the Lake was a little bit puzzling to me. I had to think about it. Gaia is in here as well. And I was like, well, I suppose like Mother Earth, life and death concept. So Aphrodite, like I kind of want to know why she's in here. I kind of want to know why they thought Aphrodite was a dark goddess. This is Haya Akitsu Hime. And I actually don't remember her mythology, so I gotta learn that too. But yeah, this deck is really incredible, and all the things that I have heard about it is that it's definitely not a gentle deck either, which I kind of need that in my life. I have some decks that are hug decks, but I have some decks that are not, because I kind of need both, honestly. There are some times where there are some times where I want to reach for something and just have a reading where I'm not going to get my ass handed to me. And then there are other times where I need to be told something, and I need to be told it in the harshest way, you know? Scotty and Lilith. Wait, I skipped a card. Hold up, guys. We're missing one, because I know that... Oh, no, we're good. Okay, so there was Lilith. There's Oya. Right. There's Gaia. See? That was puzzling. Oh, this made me so happy. I love hell. So this was really cool. I was like, that is an awesome depiction of her. And there's the Norns. The World Tree. Sphinx. Demeter. That makes sense. I mean, Demeter does make sense to me. But there, again, you know, so many goddesses that I just don't know anything about and want to know about. I know about this one, though. But again, like, it's a weird image. Kind of want to understand it. I know of her. Artemis. This one's puzzling, too. Like, what? I want to understand. I need to know. There's some interesting spreads as well in the guidebook, so I'm really looking forward to diving into this. She Who Watches, and then the spare card. But yeah, so in conclusion, if you want to work with, if you're a tarot oracle dork like me, and you really want to work with those feminine energies and the goddess energy, this is a medium that I think is honestly, it opens a lot of doors for yourself and the collective that is goddess energy. So if tarot and oracle are your vibe, this is something that I recommend. And even the goddess tarot, even though I'm looking to rehome this deck because I didn't personally connect with it, it doesn't mean that it's not an incredible deck. It really is. So, and the same with Doreen Virtue. Like, I know that there's controversy involving her, but this is a good deck. It's a quality deck, and I really think just find what works for you. There are other decks out there right now. There's a handful of oracles there's a few that just came out within the last year or two, I think. One of them just released, and I know that's the Goddess Power Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. which I thought was pretty, but it just wasn't my thing. There's another one. There's the Mythical Goddess Tarot. I know that one's been out for a while, I think. And then there is there's another Goddess Oracle, if I'm not mistaken, that I think might just be called the Goddess Oracle, but that one looked really great too, but again, just didn't quite click with me. So these are what I have, these are what I work with, and these are what have worked for me. But there's a lot of other goddess decks out there that are fantastic and would definitely work for anybody if they call to them. So this is just something that I suggest when it comes to using decks specifically to work with goddess energy. So that's all I have for you guys tonight. 25 minutes long, 26 minutes long. But I hope that this was helpful for anyone who's kind of looking into this sort of thing. If you have any questions, obviously leave them in the comments down below. And I will catch you guys later. Blessed be.